Hey everybody, welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zare, and I'm joined by the excitable one, Rich Stambolia.
Very excitable.
Rich is very excitable. What a week. I had a week. How about you? Did you have a week? I had a week.
The week before this was more of a week than this week. This week wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It was good. I actually wrapped up a lot of work before I was supposed to, and then now I'm kind of slammed again, which is also really good. Champagne problems, right?
That is a very good problem to have. Yeah. I'm officially back at work. Like I haven't worked in years because I'm trying to open up essentially a club as a restaurant. So it's been very exhausting of a week, but I'm here. We're here. It's Saturday, special Saturday edition on Matt Men. We're gonna have a big Q&A segment at the end. So this is what I told everybody. Submit your questions, right? Sometimes there aren't a lot of questions. If a lot's not happening in wrestling, obviously we're not going to get a lot of questions. However, let's submit some what ifs. I love those what if segments we used to do on the show. Send us your what ifs. Our most infamous what if is what if the Ultimate Warrior joined WWF? Didn't leave WWE in 1996 or returned. No, I'm sorry. What if Ultimate Warrior returned to WWF in 1998? That's what it was, because he was very close to signing a contract, and there's an open love letter essentially from Vince McMahon offering him this deal that would have gone through 2002. Wow. And we broke this down, and somebody posted it on Reddit recently. What is happening outside?
I think the mothership.
The mothership just landed?
Yeah.
We hear it. You guys don't.
We're getting beamed up.
I hope so, man. I hope they just take me. So we did this whole thing, and we did it like 2 years ago, and somebody posted on Reddit, and it blew up, and all I'm getting now on my personal Twitter is Ultimate Warrior questions. Like, I knew something that wasn't public.
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
Bro, I can't do my research.
So, wait a minute. How did you know this? By the way, I got into a big thing about Craig Carton on Twitter. Did you see my Twitter? And my feud for Craig Carton, radio guy, WFAN radio guy that went to prison with a friend of ours.
Is he a friend of ours?
No, with a friend of ours.
Oh, that guy. I know the friend.
Yeah, you know the friend.
Okay.
So I made a post, and all of a sudden I've gotten these knuckleheads that are like, what do you know that we don't know? You know, I'm getting a lot of those. So, dude, submit your questions. Guys, wait till the end. Submit them. We got a jam-packed show. A lot happened in pro wrestling. I really enjoyed wrestling this week.
Wrestling was a lot of fun this week. Quick shout out to Tim Traver for $2.
Oh, nice.
Walking and listening to my Matt Men family. Thanks, bud.
Awesome. I also did Jonathan's podcast.
Jonathan Riz?
Yep. It's called The Risky Show.
Why would you go on that guy's
Why
podcast?
would I go on that guy's show?
Stinks.
I got to tell you, man, I loved it. I had such a great time doing a show. If you guys, he'll post a link in the chat. If you guys want to check it out, he interviewed me. Spoke about a whole slew of things. I did not know that he was like a long-term GFQ fan.
Jonathan?
Yeah. And in 2013, he tried to hack the website.
You know what's funny? John, and I don't really know Jonathan as well as you do, but he constantly tells you what a big fan he is, and you him. You're like, that's great.
Listen, I don't know if people are really big fans.
And he's like, no, bro. Like, I used to watch like the Hotline with you and Kunal.
Yeah, you watch it. Yeah, dude, it's amazing. To hear that. But anyway, let's talk about wrestling. So, Raw was Raw. Fine.
It was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah. I tuned out, to be honest.
The big story there is that Mustafa Ali is the leader of Retribution.
Do you like that?
You know what? I don't dislike it.
Okay.
I'm glad that they're doing something with him. That's a little different.
100%.
You know, this guy was a squeaky clean babyface, former cop turned wrestling.
Yeah.
He's very progressive in his philosophy.
Yeah.
He was very likable, and then now they're turning him into a heel.
Do you think? Okay, so and you have a better memory with this stuff than I do. Got a question.
Yeah.
Did he get injured at some point and it stopped his push?
Oh man, what was it? It was he did get hurt. Yeah,
okay.
He got hurt, and then I still believe the hacker was going to be him. And they started doing the hacker thing, and I think at some point they came up with this retribution concept, and they're like, well, why don't we just do that? So I don't know if they're going to tie everything in, because now it makes sense that he could control the lights and the cameras. Because he's a hacker.
It makes sense. I also like how the internet blew up on Monday with not so much the internet, but social media blew up on Monday with the tandem of, well, he's the leader of Retribution, but why can't he also be the hacker? Which is also kind of true, right?
Yeah.
Why can't he do double duty and I was the hacker the whole time? I feel like they ditched the hacker thing and put it in the garbage.
No, I definitely think they ditched the hacker thing and they moved on to this for him. But I was told that there is another bigger name in Retribution.
So Mercedes Martinez is out.
Is out, yeah.
Shane Thorne.
You
got
but they said that Shane was a placeholder.
Right. Well, temporarily it's Shane Thorne, right?
Shane Thorne.
He's brace face.
What?
Mace.
He's
Mace.
He's
Mace.
Which one is Mace?
T-Bar is Dijakovic.
T-Bar is Dijakovic.
There's Mace. Slapjack is Dio Madden.
Dio Madden is Slapjack. What a ridiculous thing. First of all, he already has a wrestling name.
Yeah, Dio Madden's a great name.
Dio Madden is a great name. It stands out as different. And they're like, no, you're Slapjack.
Oh, terrible.
You know what? That's all. That is such a out of touch T-Bar, Mace, and Slapjack.
You know what
Come on, bro.
You know where I feel like that name came from?
Where?
So when they
Slapjack or T-Bar?
Slapjack.
Okay.
So when Brock Lesnar did the
Can you say it again?
Slapjack.
It's so funny you
Slapjack.
say it.
So they did the that quick angle where Brock Lesnar destroyed Dio Madden.
Just murdered him on the announce booth, yeah.
I feel like, and this is fantasy booking and fanboy
Mace
shit.
is Dio. Slapjack is Shane Thorne.
Oh, I thought Slapjack was
But give me
Dio.
your theory anyway.
Anyway, I thought he was Slapjack. My theory is Brock Lesnar destroys him, comes back, and goes, hey, I got rid of Slapjack out there. And then Vince made a weird note of that. And it was like, oh, I like that. I like that. Slapjack.
You know what? That's probably the most logical explanation for the name.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you it's some nonsense corporate reasoning. Like, they did a poll. They took a survey of viewers, and they gave them names and how people responded to this.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the group was like 50-year-old women. They're like, Slapjack, I like that.
Oh, that's great. I also think that those names also make me feel like Vince McMahon is a huge Jerky Boys fan.
Can you imagine?
You know?
Your daughter came to my house today. She kicked my dog.
Yeah. Slapjack. Get out of here, Slapjack.
I need my shoes and my glasses, so I has them. Do you like the Jerky Boys?
I used to love
the Jerky Boys.
Who didn't? If you grew up in New York in the 90s, forget it.
Yeah.
It was all Jerky Boys all the time. They died, right?
I believe they're all alive.
They're still alive.
They're all alive. I believe they were from Forest Hills, from Queens.
So they got rid of Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah.
Okay. So now it's back to my original point. It's Slapjack, T-Bar, Mace.
And then what's her name? Mia Yim's name.
Damn, it's with an R, right?
Someone. I can't even keep it.
Retractor.
Retractor.
Or something. And then you have the other lady, right? Or is it just Mia Yim?
I think it's now just Mia Yim.
Okay.
It's too many people in and out. But however, there's going to be somebody else. There's
like another big name.
A bigger name.
Okay.
I was always told that there's a bigger name, and when I said, "Well, is it Ali?" They said, "No, somebody else."
Retaliation.
No. Is it really? Her name is Retaliation?
That's what MG Geek says, man. Mr. Gonzo is never wrong. I mean, he's kind of wrong, but
how do you walk around with your name as Retaliation?
How do you walk around with your name as Slapjack?
I mean, I would be like, it's a nickname, right? Like, hey, T-Bar, it's a nickname. Slapjack, Mace, nicknames, right? You know why his name is Mace?
Why?
He went to a riot and got pepper sprayed.
Oh no, I thought he was gonna.
He was like crying.
He was like a huge Mace fan, like
Mace, like P Diddy Mace.
Yeah, like that,
take that,
like that Mace. Also, like, you know, backstage, these guys have to kind of go by their names, their gimmick names, right? You know how like everybody calls
it's Reckoning.
Reckoning. Okay.
Deacon is right. Deacon was absolutely right about this.
You know how the boys go by their gimmick names. Like everybody backstage calls Daniel Bryan Dragon.
Yeah.
He's American Dragon. Are people going to walk around calling these guys, hey, T-Bar?
Hey, T-Bar, come over here.
Hey, Mace. Hey, Slapjack.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Would you, if you were on that roster, would you, and they gave you the name Slapjack?
I would tell them to go fuck themselves.
You'd look at it and be like,
are you kidding me?
I don't know about this guy.
This is, I would lose it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of the problem. Like, nobody's like, what's wrong with you people? Like, do you, let's talk about this for a second, right?
Okay.
Like, is anybody Like, I get it that they're glad that they got an opportunity.
Yes.
But they gotta be like, guys, this is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Mace, T-Bar, Reckoning.
Yeah.
Why?
Do you think
Slapjack? Slapjack should explain how dumb this whole thing is. The name.
Oh, 100%.
Why can't they just be their whatever?
Mm.
Their names.
Okay, here's the other question for that situation. Now, do you think at least a couple of them turned around and honestly said, listen, this is stupid, but I'll do it anyway?
I don't know. I is that David Arquette's gimmick with the thing that comes out of his hands?
Oh, I don't know.
I
didn't know David Arquette had a gimmick.
Yeah, that's his gimmick. Well, I watched the David Arquette documentary yesterday.
How was it?
I got to tell you, it was interesting. He's a very sad man. He's
That's your takeaway?
Yeah, he's just such a sad man. Like, I want to have him on the show.
Okay.
And I told Jess is like, we were watching it together.
Mm.
She's like, he's so sad. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I think I could be friends with him. And Jess looked at me. She goes, you know what?
In like a Machiavellian sense? That was really weird the way you said it.
Not in a Machiavellian. Yes, kind of. I could manifest this in my head, and I could be friends with David Arquette. Like, we're going to be pals.
Okay.
Like, we'll be pals. And Jess is like, because you know what? If you did have an actor friend that happened, it would be David Arquette.
Okay.
I could see you saying like, oh, I'm good friends with David Arquette. And it wouldn't be unbelievable. It wouldn't be like Andrew saying I'm really good friends with Matthew McConaughey.
Mm-hmm.
It like that would be like, that's weird.
He would never be your friend.
He would never be my friend. Tom Cruise and I are never going to be good friends.
I could see Tom Cruise being your friend.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I could see Tom Cruise.
I can't manifest that. I don't have that power, but I do have the ability to put it in my mind that I will be friends with David Arquette.
It's going to happen.
And it's going to happen. He's going to come on the show and we're going to be like pals. It's going to be like, oh, David Arquette's back in studio. And he'll come in and he's like, oh, I was in New York. I just want to stop by. And we'll hang out with David Arquette. I'm manifesting this.
You going to make this happen?
And I'm going to make it happen. Watch.
That'd be cool.
And I threatened Jess with this.
Like, hey, yo, if you don't treat me good, I'm going to be David Arquette's friend.
I'm like, and I go, I'm telling you right now, Jess.
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you right now, within a year, David Arquette will be hanging out with us. He'll be here, and you'll be so annoyed that David Arquette is coming to do another podcast. He's showing up for the show. He's hanging out for the watch-alongs. Matman After Dark. David Arquette is now on the show.
At this point, was Jess holding your two children and saying, Andrew, if I have to hear any more of this,
I'm taking them and I'm leaving.
Kids.
No, I was very stoned.
Yeah.
I was very stoned last night.
Were you? I imagine you being so stoned. You ever see, man, I lost the name of the movie. But I imagine you just like being really high on your back and just like swimming.
Oh, I bet. Sometimes that happens.
Kind of like you don't know where you are.
I'm telling you right now, guys. I've manifested this thought. I've manifested this into the universe. I'm gonna become friends with David Arquette, and not in like in a bad way. It's not like a gotcha. I actually want to get to know this guy because I saw the documentary. It was actually very interesting. He, you kind of get a glimpse of his life, and a lot of it was like they were doing. It wasn't a pure documentary. It was also like. It's not a mockumentary. It's not a documentary. It's somewhere in the middle. Because there was a lot of like planned moments.
Did they show the Nick Cage thing?
Yes.
Oh, that's brutal.
Okay, that Nick Cage, I got to tell you, that was really bad. I forgot a lot about it. I had read a lot about it, but he essentially, I mean, he could have died.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I mean, that cut was terrible on his throat, and it's because the light bulb broke and just severed it here.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And this freaking guy pretty much pinned down Nick Cage. Was like, what the fuck you doing to me? And he got up and just left, and he thought about it for a second, and he went back in the ring to do the finish.
Didn't Luke Perry save his life?
Luke Perry drove him to the hospital, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Crazy.
That's wild. That's a wild story.
It is a wild story.
Who else is on your list? To be when you watch TV, because I kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
If you watch TV or watch a movie, who is on that list of like, let's just do a couple?
Yeah.
I think I could be friends with this guy.
Oh, that's a good question.
David Arquette.
David Arquette
clearly.
for sure.
Not McConaughey. Tom Cruise, I'll give you. Honestly.
You think Tom Cruise? I could be.
I think if you met him
Cruise?
in like a business situation, I feel like you
Kevin
guys would
James.
get along.
I feel like Kevin James and I could be friends.
Okay. I don't see that though.
You don't see it?
Yeah, I don't see it.
Who? I don't know.
That's an interesting. Are you a big Kevin James fan?
I like him in King of Queens.
Big Mall Cop. Big
Don't
Paul
like
Blart fan.
No, not a fan of his movies. Just like him in King of Queens.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a great question. I got to think about that.
Ayaz says, Ayaz is in the chat room. What up, Ayaz? Mark Paul Gosselaar is on his list
Oh yeah, he's on everybody's list
to be friends with.
I
have no desire to be.
I want to be friends with Zach Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are on a total tangent right now.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's okay.
I enjoy the little valleys of the episodes where I get to pick your brain a little bit.
Chris Jericho I could be friends with.
I doubt that.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I got the podcasting thing. I could get right in there with the podcasting thing.
So let's do.
I could force a friendship with Chris Jericho.
So let's manifest David Arquette first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. AEW roster.
AEW roster, like all of them.
Everybody.
They'd all come on right now. Every one of them. All the Dark Order guys. All those guys could come in. Listen, how many friends do we have on that roster that have done the show?
That is true.
A ton of them. Have been here. So I'm gonna skip Monday night. It was whatever. I think the Ali stuff was pretty. You know who we could be friends with? Mansoor.
Oh, 100%.
Mansoor, 100% we could be friends with.
You know what? Maybe not. I feel like that's the dude that we'll go to a club with him.
Yeah.
This is the picture I'm painting.
My club?
Really exclusive nightclub.
Okay.
That's not Sapphire.
Okay.
Right? He'll be like, guys, this place just opened up. I'll get you in. And then they close the velvet rope right behind him. And he goes, sorry, guys. See you later. He's that guy.
I think we could be friends with Mansoor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like this. Mr. Gonzo says he could be his wish is Ice-T.
He wants to be friends with Ice-T? I want to be friends with Ice-T's character on Law and Order. I want him to just walk into rooms and be like, yo, we got some bad shit that's happening outside. And that's it.
I feel like you could get Ice-T to do the podcast ahead of David Arquette.
Oh man.
I feel like if you asked him politely on social media,
Ice-T?
I feel like he would turn around and be like, yeah, I'll do it.
He's so cool, man.
As a Mike Tyson.
That's not bad. I'll take that. So what did you think of NXT? By the way, NXT looks great in the new building.
Love it.
Totally different vibe. It's cool that they got the audience in the front.
Yes.
With the the big screens with everybody zooming in. I think it was really awesome. It did freshen up the show for sure. It livened up the whole thing. And it makes it look like it's in a much larger building. It's interesting that they didn't do that prior. Now, here's the interesting thing. NXT, prior to COVID happening, was going to start filming a NXT Underground style show with the guys that are not being utilized on TV for the WWE Network. So it was going to be a 1-hour show with all the up-and-coming guys that they've recently signed and all those Evolve guys that came. And they did film a pilot. And part of the concept was to do it at the Performance Center and have like a cool vibe. This is it. The reason why they're doing those metal grates and everything is that this was part of that plan. And I think it's really cool if they do continue with that. If they do, do you think we could do that? An NXT, an NXT under. It's not going to be called that, obviously, but that was the original pitch. Like a NXT show for the developmental type guys.
Yes, I think so, but also like immediately as soon as you described it, I thought of Ring of Honor.
Well, that's kind of what it would be.
I like the vibe that the new area and the new zone, the NXT zone, brings. I like that it's very close to what the NBA bubble looks like.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Crowd in the front.
Yep.
Screens and everything. I like how the screens are just flat against the wall as opposed to the Thunderdome, which the Thunderdome makes me dizzy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now. That Thunderdome makes me dizzy.
It's too many lights, too much going on.
The NXT stuff is just right.
Yeah.
Also, I really enjoyed the start of the show with Kishida versus Tommaso Ciampa.
Very good match.
I like the direction that they're pushing Kishida in, making him more hard hitting. And I do like the feud with him and American Dream with Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, I thought that match was very good. So there's a lot going on here. We're not we did a whole watch along for NXT for the show. We're not going to really dive into that, but pretty much Finn Balor, broken jaw. Fractured jaw.
Yeah.
Fractured jaw. It's not as bad as people think. He'll be fine. But he did fracture jaw, and I think Kyle O'Reilly was concussed.
He had a bruised liver
Oh, is that what it was?
from one of the kicks.
Oh,
that
yikes.
Finn delivered.
So we were watching this live, and when he nailed, I mean, they were really hitting each other hard. I thought it was a phenomenal match of the year for WWE for sure. I'm curious what Dave gave it. If the Observer came out with his rankings, I'm curious because I haven't read it. MG Geek, I'm sure you could find it. I don't know if he gave it 5 stars. If he did, we would have heard it. But I thought that was a 5-star level match. I thought the storytelling in the match was great. These guys did a great job. And I feel like this may be a little recovery for NXT for being, moved away from that stale look. The show looks a lot better. So very happy with that. AEW had the Chris Jericho 30-year anniversary show. Right now, we're actually watching this right now.
I'm sorry. Can we go back to NXT for a little bit? They also announced an injury to the end of the event showed Adam Cole being dragged to the ring by Ridge Holland.
Yes,
they announced the injury to Ridge Holland now.
Yeah, he did something to his ankle.
Yeah. So the end of the NXT show was to make a big setup for something happening with Undisputed Era, with Adam Cole getting beat up, Kyle O'Reilly still being face, Adam Cole being face, and then Roddy and Fish kind of being the, I guess, like ambiguous, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like tweeners, maybe?
I guess so.
And it kind of hinged on, like, why did Ridge Holland do this?
Yeah.
Right? And unfortunately, this dude got, like, legit, it seemed like he got legit hurt.
And by the way, he had a great match. I thought that was a really good match he was having on NXT.
They're high on him and Dexter Lumis.
They're because they're big guys.
Big dudes.
Yeah. They're exactly what Vince likes. Big guys. Ominous.
And you also had 2 ladies matches end the show.
What were the matches?
Shotzi versus Shia Lee. And
by the way, Shotzi's a fan of ours.
He's great, man.
He's a fan of Matman.
Yeah. And you had the tag match with the returning Ember Moon.
Yes, so Ember Moon's back in NXT. I think that's a good place for her. I find it interesting. So we'll go to AEW and then we'll talk about the draft because I have a lot of notes from the draft that we got to talk about. What you think of the AEW show?
I really enjoyed it. I also feel like if you can't get more niche than having Luther on TV.
Yes, with Jericho.
Right. That is for a very specific generation of fans. And honestly, I'll be honest with you. Like, I would love to be like, oh yeah, I know Dr. Luther from FNW. You know? Didn't really know him too much.
I don't know him too much. I know the name.
Yeah.
And I went down a rabbit hole of, I remember watching Japanese stuff and remember seeing Dr. Luther.
Yes.
I remember seeing it. I don't remember him per se, but I remember the character of Dr. Luther. And I used to get a lot of those FMW and Wings.
Okay.
Wings tapes.
Yeah.
From Jack. So I've seen I've seen Dr. Luther stuff, but it was never like, oh, I got to see this Dr. Luther match.
I always thought he was German.
Dr. Luther?
Like years ago. Like, because of all the Japanese stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
I always thought he was German.
It's like Mr. Pogo, okay? Mr. Pogo.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the name Mr. Pogo everywhere. I really didn't give a shit, though, right? It didn't really, it was weird. Like, it was like a weird subculture of Japanese wrestling that wasn't All Japan or New Japan. It was like, you had all these weird characters there, like Jason, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface,
so fascinating.
Mr. Pogo, Ghetto and Jetto,
Liger.
No, I'm talking about like the FMW guys.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Wing and like the hardcore stuff. They had a very bizarre group of people, and Dr. Luther was part of that for many, many years. I've never seen a Dr. This was the first time I've actually watched the Dr. Luther match.
Okay.
Him and Jericho it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it was a missed opportunity for Lance Storm to be there.
Is he banged up?
I don't know. I don't know what the story was, but it was very disappointing because, him and Jericho had their first match together, and they had their last singles match was 15 years ago.
Wow.
At One Night Stand.
Wow.
And then it would have been cool. They had that match at year 1, year 15, and year 30. It would have been a great way to do it. They could still do this match. I don't know what the story was. Someone I'm sure will talk about it. But you know what? Dr. Luther didn't look terrible. I thought it was pretty cool to see him do this, and good opportunity for him, man. He's at the end of his career.
They did a good job.
And Jericho gave him so much.
Absolutely. They did a good job with Dr. Luther and Serpentico. I like Serpentico.
Yeah.
The cool thing is that but you know what? Unfortunately, I feel like, and this is my own weird, not even a gripe, but the thing that they did with Serpentico a few months ago where they had Sammy under the mask.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the perfect guy to do that.
Oh, he is the perfect guy.
With.
Always.
You know?
Always. So I thought it was a good show. What did you think of the dog collar match?
Oh, I really enjoyed it, man.
So my expectation for that match, and I don't know if you felt like this, was very low. I don't like that gimmick. Like, it doesn't, like a dog collar, a coal miner's glove, you know, like a loaded boot match or whatever the hell they're going to do. Like, whatever.
A loaded boot match.
It's very wrestling. The loaded Halliburton on a pole.
Yeah,
you know? It's so wrestling. And I didn't have high expectations of the match. I did expect it to be a total bloodbath, which they did do. I thought it was a very good match of solid TV. I mean, as far as like a dumb gimmick goes, it was probably the best match like that I've seen in a very long time.
The best dumb gimmick match?
Yeah, like a dog collar match. Okay, fine. Is that the best dog collar match I've ever seen? Probably. Yeah. Was it better than Piper and Greg Valentine? I don't know. 1983. It's a very weird bar to gauge.
It is. I did like how they had Greg Valentine
melting
in the audience. But the thing that immediately, my brain goes kind of everywhere when I watch wrestling in like a weird way. And like some stuff I feel like, you know what, I'm not going to tweet this.
Yeah.
But one of the things was seeing Greg Valentine in the audience made me be like, I feel like he switched places with Trump in the late 90s. And like, it's just like, they made a deal where they were like,
we're not going to talk about it.
I'll be you and you be me. And we're the only ones who know.
Listen, Greg, you be me. You be an excellent me. It's okay. It'll be fabulous. It'll be incredible.
And it's Greg Valentine.
It's Greg Hammer Valentine. He's the president now. I love that. Actually.
They both look like they're melting.
You know what? That's the best conspiracy theory I've ever heard.
Oh, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Better than simulation theory?
No, nothing's better than simulation.
Are you still in
theory.
a coma, by the way?
I haven't gotten up from this. I have not gotten up from this coma. So, I thought that was a good show. They're setting up for next week. Next week is the anniversary show that they're going to be doing. 1 year anniversary of Dynamite.
I'm excited.
Yeah, dude. We got wrestling on TNT.
It's pretty
wrestling. I mean, it's phenomenal. There's something for everybody. There's so much good stuff out there. We got the G1 happening. NXT's back. You know, slowly gearing back up into being what it was. I think they're finally getting their bearings in order.
Yeah.
I think also they realized that they can't draft these guys. So originally, since we're getting to SmackDown last night, they had the draft. These guys were all going to be in the draft. And something that I was told was that they were very much considering Nakamura being the next name to go down back to NXT.
Really?
Yes. I don't know if it's still happening. I doubt that it's going to happen, but that was part of the plan, that they were going to flip Balor for Knock.
That's weird.
So they're going to take Balor back because Balor was only supposed to do this till SummerSlam. And the quarantine happened.
This guy's having a great time.
And he's having such a great time. Well, I don't know how much of a great time, but he was... The quarantine happened, they needed more talent, and the ratings started slipping. So they decided to keep him there longer. Now they put the title on him. He wasn't supposed to have the title on him yet. Everything got wacky, essentially, right? Keith Lee got the title, immediately they moved him up, which was really, really weird.
No, man, you knew that was coming.
I know, but don't you think it was weird how quickly they did it? And by the way, is he in a main picture now? No, he's like a regular guy. Just once again... He's a regular guy on the roster.
Heat him up, cool him off.
Always. Yeah. Always. That's what they do always. They debut super hot. And then where do they go from there?
I also do think that in defense of Keith Lee, I feel like he's a very much a live crowd performer.
I think so, but they've tweaked him. If you realize his style has changed now, the way he's working.
Slow it down.
He's working much slower. His promos are different. His character's different. You know, that's what they do. You go to the main roster, it's like going to another company. Everything that worked for you for the last 15 years, throw it out the window. Now you're T-Bar.
Crazy, right?
It's really nuts. It really is bizarre to me that they take these guys that are so good. Listen, 15 years, right? You've been doing something for 15 years. Now they're telling you can't do that. Yeah. You can't speak the way you spoke. You can't wrestle the way that you've wrestled. So now, you know what happens? By the way, this is a theory on why all these guys get injured on the main roster.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? that all these injuries happen in the WWE. It's because you're second guessing everything you're doing.
Right.
And you could tell by their footwork.
Okay.
Okay. So a great example, master footwork guy, Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Eddie is, and there's a clip of him and Chavo. There's this match that became like legendary amongst wrestlers. And they always study this. It's him and Chavo versus, I forgot the other two. God damn it. Whatever. Whoever the other two
It's the one
are.
where they nudged them in the right direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eddie's footwork, just forget about the moves. Look at his feet.
Yeah.
Look at his body positioning. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
This guy, it's a freaking masterpiece. That's because he's not second guessing anything he's doing. He's wrestling on autopilot. This guy,
Yes.
the button is pressed and he's moving.
The very short-lived Ray and Andrade feud had the same thing.
The Ray and Andrade, yes, very good foot.
Yeah.
You're not second guessing. So what happens now is that these guys come to the main roster and they're big and they're strong and they turn around. They're like, hey, by the way, you know how you come off the ropes with your elbow being a little up? And he's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, don't do that. Put your elbow down. So now you're in the middle of a freaking, and I'm just using an example, right?
Yeah.
Now you're working the match and all you're thinking about is your freaking elbow being up.
I feel like I agree with you 100%, where it seems like they do that weird thing and you never know if it's to mess with you, because do they want to see the wherewithal of somebody who goes, all right, that's great, I'll take that under advisement, and then just goes out there and does their own thing?
They do. Yeah, a lot of them do
AJ
that.
Styles, I feel like, is a good example of like, I think AJ stopped doing certain things, but he still wrestles the same style.
AJ, yeah, because I think AJ has balls. You know, that's part of the thing where he'll tell you, no, I'm not doing it. You know, well, Seth Rollins is another guy.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
I got it. But also, that's like if somebody bought GFQ Network and said, great, we're going to do podcasts, but you can't look at the camera. You have to look up from now on.
So we got our retribution names. I'm Azar.
Oh, I like that.
You're Milkbone.
Oh, yeah, Milkbone.
And Deacon is BOS.
Milkbone.
Bag of shit. BOS, bag of shit. Yeah, you're Milkbone.
Just hump everything and say, Milkbone. Milkbone's here.
So I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good week of wrestling. And then last night was Friday Night SmackDown. Dude, Roman Reigns' promo was a highlight for me. That dude sitting in that weird room with the naked babies behind him. Naked baby statues.
I popped when this guy somehow worked in Belidat into that promo.
I didn't hear the believe that, but he goes, it didn't have to be like this. I just wanted to help you. I love you.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
He worked in the believe that somehow, where he was like, you got to believe in me, et cetera, et cetera. And it was a very serious, and you know what? Believe that. I was like, damn, they worked it in. That's pretty good. That's still his catchphrase.
So good. That was really shot well.
Yeah,
shot really well. So that was a highlight. Let's see who went where. It was the first night of the draft. I have it here in my notes.
Well, also you had Lars Sullivan returning while you do that.
I want to get to that.
Oh, we want to get to that because I know you don't like him?
I'm going to get to that.
Or do you love him now?
Oh, I think he gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Where are the notes, by the way?
I just got a text message. We don't really have traditional notes.
Is this from Mr. Gonzo?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzo, please send me the notes.
No, he just texted it to me. He just texted me the draft.
You gave him your personal phone number?
Yeah.
Huge mistake.
Penis pictures all day. Let me find this. Sorry, guys.
That's fine.
So the first pick was Drew staying on Raw, and Roman staying on SmackDown. So there you go. Your titles are out. So there were some other big moves here, like the New Day going to Raw with the SmackDown titles. They won the SmackDown tag team titles, and now they're going to Raw. So SmackDown has no tag title now. Which, by the way, I don't think we need 2 tag titles.
I agree with you.
Unify those freaking belts, have one title, and have them be on both brands.
Who were the tag champs on Raw? Street Profits?
I don't know. Yeah, Street Profits.
Yeah, see, like that. Yeah. Isn't that a weird reaction?
But we are getting new tag titles.
Yeah.
Like they're done. The tag titles are finished.
I feel like we've been saying that ever since we started this podcast.
Because they wait. They wait and they wait and they wait. So we are getting new tag titles. And maybe they're going to unify these things. Maybe there's going to be a swerve and you know, Street Profits get drafted to SmackDown. I don't know why they would do that, but let's see. Now what? One has blue belt, and then what are they going to do? Just trade their belts?
I would like to see the one belt thing that you just said. Like, if they had New Day versus Street Profits for the unification of the tag titles, that would be awesome. It also seems like they're moving a lot of the tag teams to Raw because the rumor is on the next draft, it's going to be Miz and Morrison
To Raw?
to Raw.
Huh. So
And-
you're left with no tag teams on SmackDown?
Yeah, I think you need the longer show to showcase the tag teams more, and the shorter show to showcase the singles guys more.
That's
right?
so weird. I don't know what they would do. So here were some other ones that they drafted. It was announced on Talking Smack. Humberto's staying on Raw. Murphy's going
Cool.
to SmackDown.
Great,
Drew Gulak goes from SmackDown to Raw. Kalisto's
that's cool.
staying on SmackDown.
great.
Tucker goes from SmackDown to Raw.
They split them.
They split them. The following superstars are still free agents. Raw, Mickey James, SmackDown, Lucha House Party, and Shorty G.
Mhm.
And night 2 is going to be on
Monday.
on Monday.
Do you think Shorty G is really happy that he doesn't have the dumbest name in the company now?
Yes, he's very happy.
He's
And then
just like, whoa.
and then Bianca to SmackDown also. So I expect Street Profits to go to SmackDown.
Okay.
So you know what they're going to do? They're going to be like, hey, you got the blue title, I got the red. You want to switch them?
Mhm.
They're gonna do a backstage skit, and they're just going to trade their titles.
Okay.
That's what they're going to do.
All right. That's fine.
So dumb.
I would like a unification, to be honest.
I would love a unification. I think we don't have enough. They have plenty of tag teams, just not enough top tag teams. They don't.
What makes a top tag team for you?
That's a good que-
Let me preface.
God,
let
what
me
the hell was
preface that with: do you consider the New Day a top tag team?
Yes, yeah.
So
top act.
So Xavier and returning Xavier and Kofi
The
winning
New
last
Day,
night.
the Usos.
Okay.
Not really Miz and Morrison. I don't consider them a top tag team.
Do you consider Miz a top guy?
No, a solid mid card guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, solid
Okay.
like upper mid card.
Do you consider Ziggler a top guy?
Do I consider Ziggler a top guy? No. Solid upper mid card guy.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like on paper, yes, but I think the reality is those are two top guys that the company would never get rid of.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying my perception.
Perception-wise.
Yeah,
On TV.
perception wise on TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you like to see? What tag team would you like to see on WWE TV? That's like a dominant tag team.
Oh, they've had them all. They've lost them all. Gallows and Anderson, great top tag team. They didn't do crap with them.
They had one run.
They had one run and that was it. They had FTR, another top tag team. They did nothing with.
One run also, right?
They had one run also. It's bizarre because they don't know. They don't give a crap about tag team wrestling, and they don't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, okay, whatever. They commit to it for a couple of weeks and then they drop it.
It's very interesting. Do you think the 80s and 90s were the tops for WWE as far as tag team wrestling went?
Yeah.
Or technically late 90s to 2004, 2005? Because
Well,
that's
you know
when you
what,
had the
though?
TLCs.
They've never handled tag teams that well. Like look at Demolition, right? LOD
Okay.
came in, they forgot about Demolition.
Mhm.
Powers of Pain,
Mhm.
right? Wasn't that? Yeah, the Powers of Pain. That was another tag
Mm-hmm.
team. Didn't do anything with. I think tag teams are really weird. They don't ever commit.
Could we say that the golden age of tag teams was the Hardys, Edge and Christian, Dudley's era?
Yeah, that was probably their golden age.
Okay.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
split all of them up, right?
They split all. of them.
At some point.
Everybody gets
Because
split.
they can't deal with the tag teams. And I find that very interesting.
Vince loves divorces. If
Yes.
Vince could have it his way, he'd get a divorce every other week. Barbarian and Warlord.
Yeah.
And Mr. Fuji.
It's kind of fascinating because do you think it's also like, well, AEW is kind of dominating the market as far as like they have a monopoly on like great tag team wrestling, right?
At this moment, yeah, I think it's a way better tag team company.
Well, apart from also like every company, every roster on every company, right? They probably have the best.
Yeah,
tag
they have the
division.
best tag teams. Yeah,
Very
They have the
interesting.
best tag. I think if they got Gallows and Anderson, it would have really solidified it. I think now WWE, if they commit a little bit, they could have a really good tag team.
Yes.
But in NXT, however, you've seen tag team wrestling become a main event draw.
Oh, absolutely.
Between when they had the Viking Raiders there, and they had DIY, and Revival was there.
Street Profits.
Well, I forget. I don't think the Street Profits are a top act.
What about
not a fan of them.
Heavy Machinery?
Heavy Machinery. No, I don't consider them either.
What about what was The Mighty Don't Kneel?
They sucked in NXT.
Okay.
They didn't do anything.
AOP, Authors of Pain?
AOP was a good. You know what? I thought they would suck, and then you saw that match with DIY and how they did it, and Undisputed Era, and you saw how good they could be. Phenomenal.
Undisputed?
American Alpha.
American Alpha was fantastic.
Yep.
What about Undisputed?
Undisputed.
Because you had Red Dragon as part of that, which was fantastic.
What?
Red Dragon.
Red Dragon.
Bobby
Oh, yes.
And I think DIY too. DIY may have been the top, but then you had Mustache Mountain, and then you also had
you have a lot
Imperium.
of good tag teams.
You have a lot of stuff to play with on that roster.
They do. They have a tremendous amount of stuff.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. Why?
Are you getting bad news right now?
No, why?
Your face is dropping.
Is it? No, I'm looking at the screen because they're locked up here. I'm looking at the feed.
Take a lot of
that, a lot of this.
Oh boy,
everything. So yeah, I don't know. I think everybody's doing something. You want to do some Q&As?
I want to hear your thoughts on Lars Sullivan return.
Yes. How could I forget Lars Sullivan returned to interrupt. It was Matt Riddle. He interrupted Matt Riddle and who was he in the
Jeff
ring?
Daddy.
And Jeff Hardy. Lars looks weird. I think it's hysterical that they call him the Freak, because now we know that he's really fucking insane. He's a really insane guy. For people who don't remember his story, a lot of stop and start with this guy.
Yeah.
Right before he debuted, he got they found a bunch of really stupid posts on bodybuilding.com. I think a lot of people forget what bodybuilding.com was in the early 2000s, in the mid 2000s. It really was. It wasn't necessarily only about bodybuilding. What happened?
No, I'm smiling at you.
At me.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. It wasn't a website just for bodybuilding. It became like a very bizarre troll group on that covered everything. And yeah, obviously the bodybuilding was a big part of it, and a lot of meatheads were there. But it became like there were all these different subgroups, and a lot of it was just like very aggressive trolls. And he would go and make posts on there, and he would enlighten us with his theories on race, on genders, on everything, right? But you got to remember, he was a 19-year-old idiot. He was a kid, so he got attacked with this stuff right before his debut. He made a post saying, I'm embarrassed by some of the stuff that I wrote, blah blah blah. That was a long time ago. I don't think like that. And he debuts on the roster, and he runs away. Right? He ran away. He disappeared. And then he finally came back, and he got hurt.
Right.
He tore whatever it was. It was a bad injury. And then right around that time, it comes out that he was in gay porn videos. And now you're like, my God, this guy is very confusing.
It's fine. You could do it. You could do what you want with your body.
You can do whatever you want. But I think what makes it interesting was his stance on homosexuality.
Yeah.
And his stance on all these things. Like I feel like he was a very troubled young man, and now it's followed him. Not because he was in a gay porn, because of his thought process.
Right.
He's now back. And Triple H liked, apparently, a post that somebody said this was Lars' best match, and it's a screenshot from that video.
Oh, boy.
And Triple H liked it and unliked it.
That's pretty good.
Apparently, that's what they're saying today. But I don't know, man. I feel like he's tainted goods.
Okay.
I don't really care to see a Lars Sullivan match.
It's interesting how they let so many people go, and then they're like, this guy needs to come back. High caliber, high profile. He needs to beat up Matt Riddle, our golden boy, and he needs to beat Jeff Hardy, our prodigal son.
Yeah.
I think it's very weird. Also, the one thing I was pointing this out, because I rewatched a little bit this morning too. I was pointing this out to my wife. Jeff Hardy, big guy.
He's tall.
And when you see Lars Sullivan, who's also a big guy, face to face with Jeff Hardy's that much bigger than him.
Yeah.
Fascinating,
Yeah.
right? That era of wrestling where when we saw the Hardy Boys in the 2000s, we were like, these guys are tiny.
Yeah, because they were wrestling 8 feet tall giants.
Exactly. Now these guys are huge.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy's a giant at this point.
So also, there's a big Matt Riddle lawsuit happening now. His accuser is now suing him and the WWE and also Gabe from Evolve.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I find this whole thing very complicated because they were suing her and he was suing her and now she's suing them. It's gonna be sticky. Not a good situation, but we'll see what happens with that. But the Lars thing, dude, I don't know, man. Do you think there's any? He was going to be on WrestleMania wrestling John Cena.
Yeah.
Think about that opportunity. And this guy he couldn't do it. The pressure got too much. You know what, dude? I would be like, guy, all right, this isn't going to happen. I know we invested a lot of time and a lot of effort with you. Let's just cut this. Go live your life.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
Why?
I feel like you have to, we live in an age, which is great. We live in an age where you have to really look out for the mental health of your employees for the most part.
And they're looking at it as a liability.
And I think they're looking at it as like, well, if we can help this guy, let's try to help this guy. As opposed to I feel like if it was the 90s or 80s, they'd say well, he couldn't cut the mustard. So we bounced him. And that's it. And then he'd do indie shows and show up on a high school gym or something, right?
I don't know, man.
Whereas now it's they're trying to help the guy. They see something in him, but I still find it odd where it's weird choices this year that WWE made, firing all these people.
Kept Velveteen.
Right. Which is, we don't even know what's happening with that situation. The Matt Riddle situation, the Lars Sullivan thing. It's all very strange. But wrestling in and of itself, very strange, right?
Yes.
So I think it's just on par for the course when it comes to the bizarreness and carniness and oddball shit that pro wrestling can do,
Yeah, pretty much. It's a bizarre industry, so we'll see what happens. I don't know how, dude. I feel the same way about Lars Sullivan as I do about Velveteen now.
Tainted meat.
It is tainted meat. Tainted meat. Give us your questions, guys. Submit them in the chat room. Also, give us your what ifs. Give us your what ifs. What if whatever it is.
Immediate question. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Aaron Banks, 2-part question. 1, do you think they would bring Enzo and Cass back? No. 2, have you guys...
I think yes.
You think yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
2, have you guys been keeping up with Ring of Honor? I've been enjoying the new episodes. It looks more like a sports presentation, unlike AEW.
Yeah, we spoke about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think they're doing something good with this tournament, and it's a nice restart for them to kind of figure out what's going to work and what's not. It's more of a wrestling show. It's more of a sports show, like Aaron said, and I actually like it. What do you think?
I feel like I've never really... I watched Ring of Honor a little bit, and I fell off with it during the pandemic because they weren't producing anything. And I saw a little bit what they're doing now. It's okay. I feel like you really have to do more to get people's attention. And on that note, NWA Power, I think, is trying to come back.
They are also trying to come back.
So, I mean, I really also do think that a lot of these companies need to put aside their differences and really start reaching out like Billy Corgan did with AEW.
By the way, you brought up something interesting. On AEW, you had Cyrus on.
Yes.
Right? He was on Impact. He's a VP of Impact. He was on their show.
Don Callis.
I don't think people remember him as Cyrus. Don Callis. Cyrus the Virus. That was his name.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Tanahashi on.
Yeah.
Congratulating Chris Jericho on 30th. Listen, now this doesn't mean that Impact and AEW are working together, or New Japan and AEW are working together. However, this opens up more. This is opening up more communication. You're already seeing the NWA tie-in here, right? With the title, the NWA Women's title being defended on a pay-per-view, or I'm sorry, the NWA Women's Champion challenging on a pay-per-view title, the NWA title being defended on AEW television on TNT for the first time. I brought this up and nobody seems to care. I think it's a big deal.
I care.
The first time a NWA title is being defended on TNT.
Absolutely.
Which is baffling to think about because they weren't on TNT. They were on TBS when the NWA title was happening. So I think this is a nice open-ended thing. Where I know for a fact that these guys go, like the core elite guys, when they did all in, the concept was that everybody would be involved.
Yes.
Right? You would have New Japan guys, you'd have Ring of Honor guys, you'd have Impact guys, you've had NWA guys. I don't know if NWA was around then.
Indie guys.
But we would have all these guys. We got a caller. You want to take this?
I don't know.
Caller, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hello.
Caller.
I giggle.
Are you still talking? I can't hear you.
Caller, you're on the air. Oh, this is one of those Chinese scams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I always giggle when you say we have a caller because it usually doesn't go right.
It never goes right.
Guys, if you want to call in, call in. What's the number again?
888-828-1437. That's 888-828-1437. My vehicle's warranty has expired, and my green card is apparently expired, and I need to pay them $1,000.
Oh, boy. Although you're going to get deported?
I'm going to get deported.
Oh, man.
They're going to ship me back to my planet.
I asked, call in.
Yeah, I asked. So I think it's interesting that we're seeing it, but the goal was that they would have this mega show, the all-out, all-in thing would be their mega show of everybody coming together. Why not? Why not display the best that you have there? The end of, and you don't have to put another promotion over. Tanahashi could be on there wrestling another New Japan guy.
Oh, forget it. Yeah.
I think it's a possibility. And also, you got to also remember, look at how many wrestlers on the AEW roster currently are able to go and wrestle in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous.
To further solidify your point, it was Cody and Nick Aldis at All In.
Cody and Nick Aldis at All In, yeah.
Right. So they have done the NWA stuff before. And also, I think you had Dreamer also, and Dreamer was doing House of Hardcore.
House of Hardcore, yeah.
Yeah. I do think they need to hedge their bets and just like kind of start working together again, especially with the New Japan thing. Also, Orange Cassidy not only challenging for that TNT title again, but tweeted out when is Best of the Super Juniors.
He did, and somebody else wrote something. Somebody said, when is the tag tournament?
Very interesting. I'd like to see him in the Super Juniors. I'd like to see him and Yano have a match.
Him and Yano, yeah. Let's listen, dude. I think we're in a very interesting moment. But you got to also remember, why did wrestling get so freaking hot in 2016, 2017, 2018?
Right.
It got hot because everybody was working everywhere. All these promotions were sharing talent. You could go to Evolve. We would go to Evolve and see guys from Impact, guys from the UK, main NXT guys, all under one umbrella, which was really awesome to see.
It is. We'll get it again.
We will.
Pablo we have a lot of questions to get to, guys, so give us a minute and please be patient. Pablo Garcia asks, do you think they'll bring New Day back together? Yes, eventually. Like a Shield reunion.
Yeah, definitely bring back. I'm actually disappointed they didn't have a turn happen. Because that was always the plan. Turn one of them and give them a big heel run. And they didn't do it. They just split them. So maybe there's more to come with this.
I agree with that. Adam, how is anyone supposed to take Lars as a serious tough guy?
I don't know. I think, listen, here's the thing, right? 90% of 90% of the viewers don't really give a shit. They don't know anything about Lars Sullivan.
Absolutely.
They only know what they see on TV. It's such a small fraction of the wrestling audience that goes on these message boards, and obviously they're influencers. These guys are the ones setting the trend, but and they're the vocal ones. But you got to remember, they're building a product. How many of the people watching of the 2.5 million people know about Lars Sullivan's issues? I would say it's less than half, and that's how they're banking on this. They're like, well, they probably have some metric. They're like, well, only 20%, 25% of our audience is sitting on social media. And most of these guys don't know what happened. So let's give them another shot. Also, they've invested a lot of money in this guy.
Yes, I think that's the big thing. They want a return on their investment, and also like if you put WWE is pretty much like they're very kid friendly. They skew kid friendly, right? If a kid sees Lars Sullivan, he's gonna go, "Ew, gross! It's the bad guy."
Yeah.
Right? WWE needs he's like a Bastion Booger.
He is like a Bastion Booger. Also, this weekend, GCW is presenting The Collective, which takes place in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the Fairgrounds, October 9th through the 11th. Wrestle Travel is a sponsor of this. I'm reading this. They have a 2,000 seat venue, which will be scaled back, obviously, for social distancing and won't be exceeding 25%. But they have a bunch of shows happening right now. One example is Joey Janela's Spring Break is happening. I don't even think anybody knows this. They got Jimmy Lloyd's D-Generation F happening. They got Southern Underground Pro at 4 p.m. This was yesterday, the 9th. They got Absolutely Intense Wrestling 8 p.m. yesterday and Midnight for the Culture. I don't know what that is. Effie's Big Gay Brunch at 11 o'clock today. Glory Pro Wrestling at 3 p.m. Joey Janela's Spring Break headlining 7 p.m. today. Eastern Time, and Midnight Freelance Underground. Sunday, they're going to have Black Label Pro at noon, Shimmer at 4 p.m., Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, and Paradigm Pro Wrestling. So this is everything that was planned for WrestleMania.
Wow.
So they're also WrestleMania 2022 pre-sale goes on sale also. So I'm guessing they mean 2021. I can't imagine they mean 2022.
Yeah.
But they're doing a show, a big show. So about 300 people are going to be there at the fairgrounds, the Marion County Fairgrounds.
That is the most carny word in the alphabet.
The fairgrounds, yeah. Live from the fairgrounds, we're in the Eiffel Emporium Fairgrounds in Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't want there to be any fairgrounds left. I want them all gone.
Really? It's like you want to frack all the fairgrounds?
I want to frack all the fairgrounds. Guys, submit your questions and your what ifs. Give us a good what if to do before we end the show today.
We got a good one. Let's do the questions first. Actually, MG Geek sent a really good, Mr. Gonzo sent a really good what if, but let's do some more questions.
All right, do it.
Actually, Dan Knightley. What if the same wrestlers didn't wrestle each other every week? That would be fantastic.
Man, what a concept that is.
Do you think WWE told the New Day they were being split up? I don't know, man. Judging by Big E's reaction, I don't think they told him.
Yes, they knew.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right.
They're not gimmicking the
boys again.
The boys again. Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
They stopped that a couple years ago. I forgot who. There was a couple that got split and they flipped the fuck out, and then they caused a chain reaction. Who was it? God, I cannot remember what it was.
Was it Miz and Maurice?
It wasn't Miz and Maurice. I want to say it was
like a legit couple.
It was a legit couple, and they got split, and they got so fucking mad where they caused this chain reaction of everybody else that was moved around.
Wow.
That was like, no, we're not doing this, and they reversed course on doing this carny shit.
Wow.
It wasn't Lana and Rusev. Was it? It was Paige and Alberto.
Really?
I think that it began then.
You mean Alberto Del J-Lo?
Oh my God. He's facing 20 years in prison for sexual assault, kidnapping charges. He's bonkers, huh?
Yeah, that guy's nuts.
That guy is nuts.
That guy is nuts, man. Drugs will do that to you.
He's very much into the same drugs that a lot of other athletes are into.
Classic drug use, man.
Yeah.
Andrade
and Zelina are not a couple though. It was Alice. Right. Yeah, it was Alice. There was something weird that happened, and they moved people. They've done this a couple times, but I think they're a lot more conscious about splitting couples up before they looked for a reason to do it, which is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, you're dating? Not anymore.
No.
I'm your daddy now.
Oh no. Will Mox ever defend the U.S. title again?
Yes. He actually, there's rumblings happening that he even might defend it in North America.
Okay, that's cool.
So it just says a lot about the relationship with New Japan right now. By the way, the New Japan situation is a lot more interesting than people think. Harold May, their CEO, the president, stepped down. He's still there, and there's now the guy that got it, that is the new, I guess, acting president. He was a former head of the North American expansion. But the story is that he's just a figurehead. That it's more of a collective from the executives of New Japan. So very interesting.
Listen, man, that whole thing is gonna get opened up and wrapped up immediately because I feel like they're doing. I feel like they're gearing up for like big Bullet Club stuff to happen.
But they could do it once or twice a year. That's it. You don't have to do the Ring of Honor thing where it's saturating your own product. Do it once or twice a year. You know, the Worlds Collide show that WWE does. Yeah, that's a great concept. Yes. But do it properly.
I think they got it right with all the Jericho New Japan appearances.
Yeah, they did a perfect job with that.
Like vignettes.
Yep.
And have him show up and do the match, you know?
Yeah,
like his Okada series of vignettes, fantastic.
Yeah.
He was also like the other night on Dynamite, I was like, holy shit, this dude really wrestled a lot of the top guys in New Japan when he was there.
Yeah.
And they did it right. He wasn't on TV every single week.
No, and that's the way to do it.
All right, let's see if there's any more questions before we jump into this.
Let's do your questions and your what ifs.
All right, so it doesn't look like there's any. All right. One last question. Yeah. Aaron Banks, thoughts on Joey Ryan suing people for millions for wrongful allegations against him?
I don't know, man. I don't want to state an opinion because I don't know exactly what happened. It looks really bad when you have that many people accusing you.
Yeah.
But you also have to be pretty confident that you're not wrong if you're taking this to court. Because generally, if you did commit a crime like sexual assault or whatever, however you want to deem what he did, you don't necessarily sue them back. I mean, I get it. Some people do. Some people are psychopaths. Some people are really fucked up. But I don't know much about the cases.
Right.
And I don't like commenting on something as sensitive as this, a sexual assault, before knowing everything that's being presented. I give you a great example. I watched a documentary, the Craig Carton documentary on HBO. It was such a one-sided version where you're watching it. You're like, oh my God, this guy is such a nice guy, and he just made a bad mistake. That's not the fact. This guy's a really bad guy, and he affected a lot of people with his one decision that he made. So I think when you're looking at it this way, you need all the facts. You got to see the complaints. You got to see what's being presented. But I don't even know, you never want to think this guy's capable of that, but you also don't want to think these people are capable of making up a story like that. You know what I mean? Like it's a bad situation. It's a terrible situation, but I want to see what information comes out.
It's a very bad situation.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah. I mean, also like we live in a very litigious society, and it just so happens that the wrestling industry is marred with litigiousness, where you have Candy Cartwright suing Matt Riddle and WWE and Gabe Sapolsky, right? You have people suing Joey Ryan. You have Joey Ryan suing them back. You have Effie may sue Joey Ryan now because Effie was saying he lost a lot of money, and he was saying maybe I'll sue this guy.
Why is Effie suing?
Because by guilt by association, where he lost a lot of money, saying that he lost a lot of money because he was on those shows, and now that those shows are gone, he's like, maybe I'll sue this guy too, because now people think I'm a piece of shit because of this guy, or something along those lines. Very litigious stuff, but we don't have the information. No worries, man. You got a hot ear?
No, I got like a ringing.
That stinks, man. You got to go to the ear doctor today.
I got a ringing.
Do you want me to drive you to the ear doctor?
You want to pick me up, carry me?
The ear doctor, like the bodyguard?
Yeah.
But do you want to know the information? I don't. I feel like that's just...
you know what? I would like to, so I could state an opinion, so I know if this guy's a piece of crap or not. Obviously, like, you got to do something in order for you to have those kind of accusations. You know what I mean? Like, I work around so many women.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you that there is one possible opportunity for someone to say, Andrew did this, or Andrew said this to me. I don't function like that.
Yeah.
But I'm also not in this carny business.
Plus, you're also live streaming yourself all day with a selfie stick.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
like, Mike Pence won't be in a room with a woman alone. I was like, that's a little weird.
He's a psychopath?
Because he's a psychopath, yeah. But, I mean, that's like, I'm like, well, you know what? You'll never be accused,
Hey, listen, man. The less said, the better, I think,
know.
on politics from us. Mr. Smalls, what if Tessa Blanchard debuts at the 2021 Royal Rumble? What will be some great feuds for her in the WWE?
Oh, everybody. Charlotte.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
100%.
That whole
Asuka?
roster. Yeah, the whole roster. She'll do well with them.
Okay, so let's...
Mike and Maria Bennett, I don't know anything about right now. I don't know where they are. I think Impact. The last I had heard, they were more likely to go to Impact than anywhere else.
Well, Mike said he wanted to leave, and Maria said, hey, I don't want to leave.
Where? No, they're both gone.
No, I understand that. But Mike, in a recent interview, said at one point he wanted to leave, and Maria said, I want to stay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give us a choice.
Yeah.
All right, so there's 3.
Okay.
Crown Wolf, what if Chyna never left WWE?
Okay.
Would she have survived the transition within the women's division?
Okay.
That's a good
That's
question.
a very good question.
That's from Crown Wolf. Kayfabe Chronicles, what if Hogan actually stayed away from WWE following WrestleMania 8? Don't remember if you guys have covered this. It's Hogan, so yeah, probably.
Okay.
Okay. And MG Geek, what if Sting would have signed with WWE instead of TNA in 2007? I'm leaning towards that one.
You want to go with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I got to see WWE in 2007.
The China one is very good, Crown Wolf. Also, kayfabe. That's a good question, but I feel like we did cover that at some point.
Which one?
Hogan staying away from WWE.
So, I mean, I could touch on it quickly, right?
Okay.
But we could spend some more time next week on this. So, Hogan after WrestleMania 8.
Mhm.
WrestleMania 8 was the Sid match, right? Yeah, WrestleMania 8 was a Sid match. WrestleMania 9 was Caesar's Palace.
Okay. Yes.
Was it at Caesar's Palace? It was.
Yeah.
So WrestleMania 8, that was the plan because they were selling it as his retirement.
Yeah.
And he did those interviews with Vince. He would sit down and do like these long interviews with Vince about how his career is ending and all this stuff. And if he loses, he's never coming back. He wasn't really around much after that. But what happened when they started Raw, the plan was for him to come back for Raw. He was on, I think, like 2 episodes. He wasn't on much.
Okay.
I think he left June 1993. That was his last match with Yoko. He did a couple of the European matches after that, and that was it.
We did go into this.
Right? We did go into this.
We went into this a while ago.
Because he was supposed to drop the title to Bret Hart at SummerSlam 1993.
Right.
So I don't think it would have been totally possible for Hogan to disappear after 1992. I don't think that Hogan in 92, 93, late 92 to 93 made no difference. Made no changes to anything because he wasn't on the SummerSlam 92 card, which that was held in Wembley Stadium. That was headlined. Remember, the Ultimate Warrior came back, so that was Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man and Flair. That was that whole thing going on there. So I don't think it would have been there would have been any difference in the trajectory of WWE. However, I would have loved to do a Hogan in 93, 94.
Okay.
We could do that another time. All right, what was the other one?
I want to do this Sting one.
Let's do it.
What if Sting signed with WWE instead of TNA in 2007? That would mean that we would miss 2 interesting moments in the TNA run. Him saving Jeff Hardy's ass.
Okay.
Because Jeff Hardy was too effed up to wrestle. You remember that?
Yes.
And we wouldn't have gotten Joker Sting.
We would have never gotten Joker Sting. No.
I don't think WWE would have had the wherewithal in 2007 to give him the package that we got in 2016.
When in 2007 do you bring him in?
Rumble.
You would bring him in. You want to start January?
Yeah,
Okay, let's do that.
Rumble Surprise 2007.
Let me see what WrestleMania 23 looked like. Because I'll book to WrestleMania. Wow, that was the Battle of the Billionaires, WrestleMania 23.
Oh, boy.
The highest rated WrestleMania ever. 1.2 million buys.
That friggin' poster.
I know that poster is ridiculous. What a ridiculous thing. So let's just go. I'm gonna read the WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to do the Rumble or no?
Yeah, no. I'm gonna read this. No, we'll go to Rumble, but I need to backtrack. Right.
Okay.
So you had John Cena defeating. So there was a singles match for the title. John Cena defeated Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
You got Melina and Ashley. You got Bobby Lashley defeating Umaga with Donald Trump in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
The ECW Originals defeated the New Breed. You had Undertaker versus Batista. You had Chris Benoit defeating MVP. Khali and Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy defeated CM Punk, Edge, Finlay, Jeff Hardy, King Booker in the ladder match. Matt Hardy and Randy Orton in a Money in the Bank match. And Carlito and Ric Flair defeated Chavo and Greg Helms. So that was Helms. So that was the
WrestleMania.
That was a WrestleMania. So let's go to Royal Rumble.
All right. So I'll do the Rumble.
Okay, you go.
Okay. So Rumble was JTG versus beat Lance Cade. Hardy Boys beat Eminem. Lashley beats Test by countout. Wow, Test. Batista beat Mr.
ECW
Kennedy.
Test.
Yes. For the title. Batista beats Mr. Kennedy for the World Heavyweight Championship. John Cena beats Umaga.
Yeah.
Last man standing for the WWE Championship. And Undertaker wins by last eliminating Shawn Michaels.
So there you go. Right?
Last 2 men in the ring.
Eliminate Shawn.
Did you hear the crows?
Undertaker clothesline Shawn out, eliminates him, and he does his whole thing. He's on the floor doing this, and all of a sudden you hear, No, he would come out he wouldn't have had that song. He would have had his old crow music. You hear it, you see him show up, and it fades to black.
Okay. Monday night, Undertaker comes out because remember he has to decide who he's facing. Okay.
And he's about to make his announcement on who he's going to face for the title. Is it going to be John Cena for the WWE title, or is it going to be Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship? And as he's about to announce it,
yeah. Okay.
Hear it. He floats into the ring.
Down from the rafters. Okay.
Here's Sting. Do a face-off. It's a dream match.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. They're doing this whole thing, and they fade to black, and it's over, and now you have this match.
So, Undertaker forsakes his title match to face
Sting because it's bigger than the title,
and that would headline WrestleMania.
I don't know. Let me. No, because the Battle of the Billionaires would still headline WrestleMania.
Okay.
Wasn't that the main event? No, it wasn't the main event.
No, main event was John Cena and Shawn Michaels.
And Shawn
Michaels.
So this kind of changes everything here, right? Because you would still have Shawn. Shawn was now... how did Shawn get a title shot?
He won... since Batista took on The Undertaker.
There was an opening.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we got No Way Out, right? We're at No Way Out. You got... Rob Van Dam, Shelton Benjamin, Chris Benoit, and the Hardys. Let's go. So you got here we go. Shawn Michaels and John Cena defeated Batista and the Undertaker.
Okay.
This match would be replaced. It would be different. You would have Batista in a feud with who do I? Okay, Mr. Kennedy challenges Batista for the world title at WrestleMania. That's where I'm gonna go with this.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have Sting and Undertaker in the match against Shawn and
Really? And John Cena.
So I gotta book this differently because my idea was to have a tag match with the Undertaker and Sting facing somebody.
Okay.
You know what? Here we go. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I would have Kane and Booker T versus the Undertaker and Sting at No Way Out.
Okay.
Undertaker and Sting lose.
Mm-hmm.
And you continue to feud there. That's how I get to that WrestleMania match.
Okay.
And then Batista now has to defend that title to somebody at WrestleMania.
You said Mr. Kennedy already.
Mr. Kennedy? Should I go with Mr. Kennedy?
That's what you said before.
Let me just see WrestleMania again. No, because he won. No, I can't do Mr. Kennedy because Kennedy wins the Money in the Bank. I would have Batista and...
Does it matter?
Doesn't matter. I could do Booker T. I could do Kane. It doesn't matter.
Let's do Kane.
Okay, Kane. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Undertaker would beat Sting.
Okay, so my whole issue is that if they brought Sting in 2017, they would
2007.
2007. Sorry, they would not give him the fanfare that they would have given him that they gave him when he came back. Right?
Oh yeah, interesting.
He would not have had the ridiculous cinematic intro. He wouldn't have had the big Mania match. I feel like in 2007, it would have been an afterthought. And I don't even think he would have faced The Undertaker. I feel like they would have teased it. He would have showed up at the Rumble, faced off with Taker, No Way Out, squash match.
With who?
With Sting.
Who would beat Sting?
Undertaker
Undertaker beats Sting at No Way Out?
at No Way Out. And then you
Ah.
continue the same course. And then at WrestleMania, Sting ends up in a triple threat with Cena and Shawn Michaels, let's say. And he loses. They don't know what to do with him at
Man,
this point.
I'm
right?
gonna go with the best. I'm gonna go with the best way to do it.
Okay.
I definitely think that match has to happen. 100%. You don't think so? You truly believe that they would screw up Undertaker Sting in 2007?
Absolutely. I think
that's so disappointing.
I feel like because I mean, look at the roster, look at the way how it just seemed like at that point in time, they probably did not give a shit about Sting, as opposed to 2016, where this guy's winding down his career. I never had the big moment, and in 2000, it was 2016, right?
What?
That Sting
When he
came
showed
back.
up?
Yeah.
I think so. No, 2015.
Okay.
I
So,
can't remember. It's all those years though the same.
but at that point, so late in his career, because they know he's not going to go anywhere else.
We're in 2007.
No. In 2015 when he came back.
Yeah. It was that he wanted to do it just so he could say he did it.
Right. And then marquee matches, right? He left on even though he got hurt, he kind of left on a high note.
Yeah.
Big WrestleMania moment. They wouldn't have done that in 2007.
Dude, him and Seth Rollins were having a really good match
Absolutely.
until he got all screwed up.
Yeah.
So I feel like they would still. I think if Sting showed up, that was the last one that they never got.
Right.
So I do think they would have done something. I just don't know what it would have been and how long. So remember, you would have had to book this. They were definitely going with HBK and John Cena that year.
Sure.
100%. Which, by the way, I think that was a big mistake. HBK should have won the title.
I agree.
And that was a very strange call, and I think it had to do with Shawn not wanting the title.
Exactly.
Shawn did not want the title because he was only working a limited schedule. But I think for the story of Shawn, him not getting that WWE title one last time, it was a detriment. I also feel the same about Flair. I think Flair should have beat Hunter in that Raw match when they had a one. I consider one of my favorite Ric Flair matches. It's him, and it's on the Ric Flair DVD that they put out many years ago.
Yes.
And at the end they held him up with the title and everything. They should have had him drop the title, and he could have won the title for the last time, 19th time, whatever the hell number they're using.
17. It would have been.
It would have been 17, but in reality it would have been like 23.
Right.
Have him have that title and then have him drop it immediately at the next pay-per-view. It would have done nothing other than solidify that title again.
Absolutely.
And giving, they're so against giving you what you want.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about wrestling, right? That's the thing about that makes it work sometimes.
Yes.
That you're constantly wanting something, but you know what? Hunter beating Flair didn't do anything to elevate Hunter and didn't do anything to hurt Flair.
I agree with that 100%. And I feel like when it's done right, it's done right. And the one instance that pops into my head where I remember being so vested in it was when Triple H had that title, I think, for like 9 months, and The Rock finally beat him.
Oh, yeah,
It was like early 2000s, right? That's when you want something, and then finally it's done right.
You got it, yeah.
But I feel like WWE has a bad habit of it's more trolling.
Yes, perfect. Perfect. That is exactly, that is a perfect explanation. So you hit the nail on the head, because I was thinking about, like, when I would watch, like, I remember when Austin came back, right, after his neck injury.
Yeah.
And him and Hunter were in this feud.
Yeah.
I don't remember if Hunter had the title or not, but I'm sure he did have the title, because it was like a screw finish every match. I wanted Hunter to lose.
Right.
I wanted him to lose, and he didn't lose, and I was so angry about it. But that's a natural feeling that you want to have. I feel like you're right. When they do that now, I don't watch a match. I don't watch any heel with a title where I'm saying, I want him to drop that. Like, I don't have that. I don't see, and I don't know if it's because we cover wrestling now.
Yeah.
So we like look at it differently. That may be a reason, but I cannot remember the last time a heel has a title and a babyface is challenging. My lights are getting upset. And I want that guy to lose so badly, and I want the babyface to win the title.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Bryan, that would be the last one.
I agree with that. I think the Daniel Bryan thing is interesting. You know who that's gonna happen with? MJF.
He's gonna as a heel?
Yeah.
He's going to have the title and someone's going to beat him final? I
Yeah.
hope so.
I think just him as a character, you want to see him get his comeuppance.
So the transfer in heat reminded me, HBK was a fill-in for Hunter that year. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Right.
I think that's how I would do it. 2007 is such a blurry, like that era is so weird to me. Like 2003, 2004, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like a weird mix up.
Yeah.
2005 I remember very detailed.
Vividly.
2006 I remember very vividly. 2007, 8, 9, 10. Like, dude, you got to remember, John Cena and The Miz headlined WrestleMania.
Right.
In one of the worst main evented WrestleMania matches ever.
Oof.
It wasn't a bad match.
No.
It was just a terrible match. And the only reason why it headlined is because The Rock was in it.
Good.
And it was a setup for the following year.
Good for Miz, though.
Good for Miz, but I'm like, they do weird stuff. Like that whole Cena thing. Like, were you invested in Cena?
I really thought like they were going to give it to Shawn again, to be honest with you.
No, I'm saying in general, though. Like, Cena's run 2006 on.
Yeah, sure. For like a little bit, like I always,
See, I
had no problem with John Cena. WrestleMania 26 was, I think, apart from the Undertaker Shawn match, probably one of the worst WrestleManias ever.
And that should have headlined.
Right.
25 and 26 they should have had. No, I thought 26 they did headline.
They did headline 26. 25 they didn't. No, I'm sorry.
26 was...
Which one was the Miz one? 27. Sorry.
27 was
I'm
the
thinking
Miz
of
one,
27.
Yeah, you had 26 is the one where Brett beat Vince in a no holds barred match.
This is the one where Rock hosted Undertaker, Triple H, no holds barred. That was the best part of the night. And then the rest of it was just kind of like blah. Miz with Alex Riley.
Miz with Alex. What happened to Alex the Raging Bull Riley?
Oh boy. And that was a 20-minute match too.
But this WrestleMania got a mixed review. Canadian Online Explorers, I have no idea what the hell that is, gave it, it's called Canoe.com, gave it a 6.5 out of 10. The World Championship match received an 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Undertaker Triple H got an 8.5 out of 10, which is pretty fair. WWE title match got a 5 out of 10.
Wow.
CM Punk, Randy Orton, 7 out of 10. Yeah, there were some decent matches. Oh, this was a no contest that Sheamus and Daniel Bryan went to a no contest.
Right.
In a lumberjack match. Great Khali defeated Sheamus. Won by elimination in a battle royal. Edge with Christian defeated Alberto Del Rio for the title. And I believe he relinquished the title right after that, right? The next day.
Was that the... Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cody defeated Ray. Big Show, Kane, Kofi, Santino Marella defeated the Core. Corre.
Stupid.
Because, another edgy name by WWE. Randy Orton defeated CM Punk. Michael Cole with Jack Swagger defeated Jerry Lawler. Terrible match. With Stone Cold Steve Austin as a special guest referee. Undertaker defeated Triple H in 29 minutes. And John Morrison, Snooki, and Trish Stratus defeated Dolph Ziggler and Lay Cool.
Yeah, not the best Mania.
And Miz and, no, not the best Mania.
So there you have it.
Snooki.
Sting. Stanger.
The Stanger. I hope that helped.
I think that was fun.
Snooki did get a huge pop.
She did get a huge pop. She's very orange like Garfield.
She's very orange like Garfield. That's it, guys. I think we're done. Awesome. Very cool. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Remember, follow Rich, BTC Rich on Twitter. I'm Adrian on Twitter. Mattman Podcast on Twitter. You can follow us. We're everywhere. Also on Instagram, Mattman Podcast on Instagram. Give us a follow there. Constantly posting information there. We got an awesome Facebook group, facebook.com. Just search Mattman Podcast or Mattman Discussion Group. You'll find it right there. Join the group there. We got about 14,000 members in there. Awesome stuff. Patreon.com/Mattman Podcast. You can fund us there as little as $1 per month. And, of course, all your super chat support, we really, really appreciate it. Guys, so you guys gave a bunch of money to get a new chair. Send me some links for chairs that you want to see in the studio. We're going to leave it up to the audience. I'm going to pick 4 chairs, and you guys are going to vote which one I get. Now, I'm not doing like a Hello Kitty one. I don't want to waste your money. I need an actual chair. So you guys pick it. I would love to make this a bit, but I got to sit in the studio and do other shows too with this chair.
How much did we raise? 200?
$240.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do a chair poll on Twitter.
Let's do a chair poll.
Let's do four chair choices and then do a poll.
Send me your links.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. See you next time. Take care.